The observation deck of Station Kepler 7 offered a panoramic view of the nursery below, where xenobiologists from across the galaxy gathered to witness something unprecedented. Behind the reinforced glass, Kara sat cross-legged on the synthetic grass, her auburn hair falling in waves around her shoulders, completely unaware of the audience above. She shouldn't have been there. Humans weren't supposed to interact with Vrexian cubs, not after the incident on Colony Meridian, where a misunderstanding had nearly sparked an interstellar war. The Vrexians were apex predators from a death world even harsher than Earth, with retractable claws that could shred titanium and jaws powerful enough to crush bone. Their cubs, while smaller, were no less dangerous in the eyes of the Galactic Council. But Kara had never been good at following rules. "She's going to get herself killed," Ambassador Thel Knox whispered, his translucent tentacles quivering with anxiety. The Aquarian diplomat had spent 3 cycles negotiating the fragile peace treaty with the Vrexian Dominion. One human casualty could unravel everything. Dr. Yamara, the station's head xenobiologist, adjusted her compound eyes to focus better on the scene below. "I've been observing her for weeks. The cubs don't see her as prey. They see her as something else." In the nursery, Viri approached cautiously. The cub's silver and black fur rippled with bioluminescent patterns that signaled curiosity rather than aggression. At just 6 months old, Viri stood nearly 4 feet tall at the shoulder, with eyes that glowed like molten amber. The other 3 cubs, Talc, Myrn, and Jess, watched from various positions around the enclosure, their hunting instincts making them naturally wary of the strange, soft creature in their territory. Kara had been assigned as a maintenance technician, but she'd discovered the nursery during her off hours. The first time she'd seen the cubs, something in her chest had tightened not with fear, but with recognition. They reminded her of the wolf dogs her grandmother had rescued back on Earth, all raw energy and untamed potential wrapped in fur and teeth. She'd started visiting them every night. Viri took another step closer, nostrils flaring as they caught Kara's scent, something sweet and strange, mixed with the synthetic soap from the station showers. The cub's ears swiveled forward, tracking every breath Kara took. "Hey there, beautiful," Kara murmured, keeping her voice low and steady. She'd learned that lesson from the wolves. Never let them hear fear in your voice. "I brought something for you." And, from her pocket, she withdrew her hairbrush, a simple wooden thing her mother had given her before she'd left Earth. The bristles were worn soft from years of use, and the handle was carved with tiny flowers that bloomed in the valley where she'd grown up. Viri's pupils dilated at the sight of the strange object. In the observation deck above, Ambassador Thel Knox made a strangled sound of alarm. "What is she doing?" he gasped. Kara extended the brush slowly, letting Viri sniff it. The cub's nose twitched, processing the scents embedded in the wood lavender from Kara's shampoo, the oils from her scalp, traces of earth soil still caught in the tiny crevices. After a long moment, Viri's bioluminescent patterns shifted to a warm blue, the color of contentment. Then, in a move that made every observer hold their breath, Kara gently ran the brush along Viri's flank. The cub's reaction was immediate. Viri's entire body relaxed, a deep rumbling sound emanating from their chest. Not a growl, but something closer to a purr amplified through a sound system. The silver fur rippled under the bristles, standing up in strange patterns before settling down again. "Impossible," Dr. Yamara breathed. "Vrexians don't allow touch from other species. It's a dominance display, an act of submission or control. They should be attacking her." Actually, Dr. Vrexians and with her side. But Viri wasn't attacking. Instead, the cub leaned into the brush strokes, their massive head tilting to give Kara better access to the spot behind their ears. The other cubs, seeing Viri's response, began to creep closer. Kara worked methodically, brushing out tangles in Viri's fur, humming a tune her grandmother used to sing during grooming sessions with the wolf dogs. She didn't notice when Talc crept up behind her, didn't register the danger until she felt hot breath on the back of her neck. In the observation deck, 3 security officers reached for their weapons. "Nobody move," Dr. Yamara commanded, her voice sharp. "Watch." Talc sniffed at Kara's hair, then, with surprising gentleness, took a strand between their teeth. Not biting, just holding, tasting. Then the cub began to groom her, rough tongue rasping against her scalp in a gesture that was unmistakably affectionate. Kara laughed, a sound of pure delight that echoed through the nursery. Okay, I get it. My turn? She turned to Talk, running the brush through the cub's darker fur, working out the mats that had formed during play fighting. Mirn and Jess joined the group, and soon Kara was surrounded by 4 massive predator cubs, all vying for her attention, all presenting different parts of their bodies for grooming. It took 20 minutes before Kara realized what was happening. Each time she brushed one of the cubs, they would immediately turn and groom her back, their rough tongues creating a disaster of her carefully maintained hair. Viri was particularly enthusiastic, licking Kara's hair until it stood up in wild spikes that matched the cub's own ruffled fur. By the time the grooming session ended, Kara's hair was a catastrophe of tangles and cowlicks, standing up at odd angles where the cub's saliva had dried. Viri's fur, meanwhile, had been brushed into similar disarray, with one patch standing straight up and another lying flat against the cub's skull. They looked ridiculous. They looked perfect. In the observation deck, Ambassador Thel Knox finally found his voice. What just happened? Dr. Yamara's compound eyes reflected the light in a way that might have been a smile. I believe, she said slowly, we just witnessed the beginning of a new alliance. Humans and Vrexians don't see each other as prey or predator. They see each other as pack. Below, Kara lay sprawled in a pile of oversized cubs, all of them grooming each other with equal enthusiasm, their matching disarrays a badge of belonging. Viri's bioluminescent patterns pulsed in sync with Kara's heartbeat, a connection that transcended species and evolution. The Galactic Council would have questions. There would be reports to file, protocols to establish, treaties to amend, but for now, in this moment, there was only warmth and acceptance, and the simple, profound joy of finding family in the most unexpected places. Kara's brush lay forgotten in the grass, its bristles filled with silver-black fur that glowed faintly in the nursery's artificial twilight, evidence of the bond that would change everything.